business is a talent business, and with the competitive hiring market in the cannabis industry, that is something every operator and entrepreneur must keep in mind when building their team. One way to gain competitive advantage in the hiring market is to offer ownership shares to employees. This powerful but seldom utilized compensation tool can be leveraged by privately held cannabis operations to attract and retain top talent in the industry. So the topics we will cover in this video include the current state of hiring in the cannabis industry, how common is share-based compensation in cannabis, key considerations for structuring share-based compensation, stock options versus restricted stock for cannabis businesses, ways to structure stocks and ownership stakes into your cannabis business, and steps in implementing a plan, stock compensation strategies for cannabis employees. So let's dive in. The information contained in this presentation is meant for guidance purposes only, and not as professional legal or tax advice. Further, it does not give personalized legal, tax, investment, or any business advice in general. Legal cannabis has been a boon for job markets, adding both employment opportunities and major tax revenue in these areas. However, the vast majority of job availability in the industry exists at the entry level. This creates a major issue for cannabis operators when it comes time to finding experienced and qualified talent. This is a fairly common problem in early stage industries, which leads cannabis operators to recruit talent from other sectors like food and beverage, agriculture, manufacturing, and finance. You see, traditional industries have the capacity to overcome these obstacles by offering higher salaries to attract the best talent in the business. Unfortunately, though, cannabis businesses don't have the same luxury. The unfair tax regimen for the cannabis industry throttles profits and crushes the bottom line of these businesses, severely limiting the compensation they can offer their employees and staff. But thankfully, owners can overcome these obstacles by integrating share-based benefits into their employee compensation programs. Distributing ownership is common practice in early state and startup-driven industries, like tech, for example. Companies that lack funding and cash flow, but show a tremendous amount of promise and growth potential, offer ownership to compensate for the inability to pay market price for their team's salaries. What is surprising is that privately held cannabis businesses have been slow to adopt this time-tested, effective compensation strategy for attracting, hiring, and retaining top talent. Since this isn't a widely embraced industry practice, privately held cannabis businesses that do adopt share-based compensation strategies can get a serious leg up on their competition. When weighing out job offers, many qualified job candidates will be willing to take a lower salary if their compensation package includes stocks, options, or ownership. For cannabis owners and operators who haven't integrated ownership shares in their business, this is the perfect time to do so. The recent True Leaf Harvest acquisition is priming the cannabis industry for a massive surge in M&A activity. What this means is that small to mid-sized cannabis operations are going to have a far greater likelihood of being acquired by a larger company, and as a result, boost the value of their ownership shares. Adding ownership shares to your business's compensation strategy may sound like a simple concept, but it does take a lot of time, planning, and coordination to make it work to your benefit. To help you out, here are some key considerations to make as you plan out your share-based compensation structuring. Number 1, keep in mind that as you raise money for your business through investors or rounds of financing, your ownership as a founder or as a founding partner will be diluted. Since you'll likely be handing over ownership when you raise money or get investors for your business, be sure to keep that in mind as you distribute your stock. Protect your ownership for the lifetime of your business so that you don't dilute your own shares. Number 2, be stingy with your shares now because they'll likely be worth a lot more in the future. Keep your eye on the long-term goals of your business to protect yourself from giving away too much ownership in the present. Number 3, leave room to build your team. You'll likely be hiring for C-suite executives, directors, and management roles as you go. This is another reason not to give away too many shares now, so you can keep an ownership reserve to offer to talented future candidates. And number 4, you should implement a vesting structure that rewards performance and the time spent at your company. That simply means you structure your ownership sharing based on the employee's tenure at the company and their ability to help grow your business as they hit or exceed key performance metrics that you set for them. There are a few different ways that your private cannabis business can offer stock to your current employees and talented future hires. You can offer restricted stock to your employees, which can be in the form of restricted stock awards, commonly referred to as RSAs, and restricted stock units, or RSUs. Restricted stock is different from stock options in that you award these to your employees outright, as opposed to options in which employees have the right to purchase a number of shares at a given price sometime in the future of your company. RSAs are typically issued to early employees of a company before they receive the initial rounds of equity financing. Employees take ownership of the stock on the day they are issued, and as holders of RSAs, this usually gives the employee voting rights, much like a part owner. RSUs, on the other hand, is a form of common stock, which is essentially a company that promises to grant stock to employees at a future date. They are usually contingent on specific vesting and performance conditions, and will not be granted to your employees until A, the conditions are met, B, restrictions lapse, or C, both of these occur. Those conditions can include or be triggered by a vesting date, the liquidation of the company, or another set specific date in the future. Stock options are a little different. As mentioned before, stock options define the rights of your employees to purchase a set number of shares at a given price sometime in the future of your company. The incentive for employees is that they can purchase their stock at an option price, sell their stock in the future for a profit after the company goes public. There are certain restrictions laid out in your market standoff provision that restrict your employees as to when they can sell their stock to protect the market value of your business. Stock options are great because they keep your team motivated to work hard in order to boost the future public value of your company as high as possible, so they can maximize their benefit of selling their stock in the future. That was a lot of information. As an operator, you're probably asking, how do I structure ownership stakes into my business? We're glad you asked. Recently, our cannabis finance team was able to pull from the 30 to 40 most prominent public businesses in the cannabis industry to see how they distribute equity in their organizations. Here are the trends that they found. On average, they set aside about 10% ownership that will eventually be distributed to key stakeholders. These top cannabis companies limit the distribution of RSAs and distribute mostly options and RSUs. This incentivizes your team to work hard and stay at your company longer to increase their future value and profit. These companies also set vesting terms for 3 to 5 years. Setting a vesting period of 3 to 5 years protects your business from all of your talent cashing out as soon as they can profit from the sale of their stock. Vesting terms protect you and your business from losing key employees and a high percentage of your workforce in a short time span. The intricacy of implementing ownership stakes compensation in your cannabis business is a challenging process. You'll need help from a variety of parties to make this possible, including your business's key stakeholders, attorneys, third-party valuation firms, and other departments within your company. Setting up ownership stakes as part of your cannabis business's compensation package is hugely beneficial for attracting and retaining talent. It is also a complex process that requires a careful planning and analysis of financial and tax implications. The best way to do this is with the guidance and assistance of the experienced cannabis tax and finance professionals at GreenGrowth CPAs. A company like ours is 100% focused on businesses in the cannabis industry. Our experts know the ins and outs of every legal cannabis market. So if you want to learn more about ownership share strategies or need help integrating ownership-based compensation packages into your business, schedule a consultation by visiting us at greengrowthcpas.com or call us at 1-800-674-9050. Thank you so much for your time. We hope this information has been helpful. If you have any questions or want more information, please leave us a comment below. And be sure to like this video and give us a follow to learn more about the cannabis industry.